application, add-on application that brings new values to the customers. We have to educate our customer. It's inherent within our solutions to educate not only the customers, but our customers, the end user, the consumers, the print buyers. So we work very closely with each one of our customers. We have a CBD team, a customer business development team in each and every territory. We escort our customers hand in hand, working with them on every single application in the beginning, almost every single job, to show exactly how to present the Scotix, how to express, to use the right terminology, what to say, how to sell that value, how much to sell that value. So we have financial support, application support, business support, and it really is majority part of what we do in the company, because again, it's a new technology, new solution that did not exist. We have to do that.
Thank you, Ziki. Greg?
Thank you. At GPA, we have 30 business professionals that work with our customers across the country. Like many others said here today, we look at the different vertical markets and the different applications within the vertical markets, and our strong point is our specialty products. So for self-adhesive materials, non-adhesive films, understanding that not only how do I print and produce an image on a piece of plastic, but what are the conditions that piece of plastic has to be subjected to by their customers. So really we have a mantra that says ask GPA, because truly if you bring us the opportunities, we'll make sure we'll guide you through the variety of different substrates that are out there and how to produce that product for the right application.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have another broad question. We like to keep it broad so that, because we don't know, exactly what areas the audience is in, so we try to keep it general. But basically, what opportunities do your products and services present for your customers to expand into new markets? Yes, please.
All right.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Francis.
All right. Thank you. So everybody knows our industry has changed pretty dramatically over the last 10, 15 years, and Canon focuses primarily on digital print technologies. And so what we have to think about is, how do we develop digital print and enabling technologies that work with digital print in order to help our customers, A, understand how the technology works, B, understand how to go out and sell it, and to help them increase revenue for their businesses. So
right. And do you monitor this in any way? Like if you know, like maybe there's a customer who's doing something, but there's an opportunity for them to maybe be doing something else, does anyone ever step in, or is it only until they reach out to you and ask for some assistance?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the programs that I'm responsible for is running a customer advisory council.
Oh.
So the group is called CREATE, the Canon Reach Out Advisory Team, and it gives us an opportunity to get directly in front of our customers to understand what are their business needs, what are some of the issues that they're having, what do they do today, and it allows us to think about what we can help them do for the future. So by having this group of folks that we interface with on a regular basis allows us to think about how we can service the entire market, because they're relatively representative.
Right. Thank you very much.
All right, my pleasure.
Boris?
So obviously at HP we have a very broad portfolio of products, everything from the very large inkjets and 3D printing coming soon down to the Indigo and the wide format products. A lot of these play in very special areas, right? We have the packaging presses that will print on plastics, and we have the folding carton presses that will print on the very thick boards. So we spend a lot of time making sure that our customers and their customers are aware of what the applications are. we have a group in New York that works directly with ad agencies and brands, the AT&Ts, the Martha Stewarts of the world, to make sure they're aware of what digital can do and how it can do it for them. And then we work directly with our customers to help them understand what the brands are looking for, right? Again, the key thing here is the brands don't necessarily know what is possible, and we need to help them become aware of what's possible, and we need to make sure that the printer is there following up. So we basically have created this sort of closed loop system to drive volume from the top down and bottom up.
Thank you very much. Ziki?
So I think it's really important to just a minute to explain what Scotix does, because it's exactly the thing we do is adding value and helping our customer go into new markets and new opportunities. Scotix is all about creating print digital enhancement in a way that was not possible before. So everything that you knew that needed to have a long setup, a very costly setup, whether it was foil to do with molds and plates that cost hundreds of dollars per square inch, it's now possible to do without any setup based on a PDF file, and you can do one copy. That opens a whole vast of new opportunities with commercial printing, packaging. You can do a brochure, you can do 5 copies of brochure with a cost of cents with foil, variable data foil. You can do enhancement like embossing for 5 book covers without any molds, any setup, any plates, anything that requires all these traditional, long, costly processes. And this is all the essence about Scotix, creating things for short runs that opens really new opportunities. In addition to that, another sentence is all about replacing traditional ways of doing things in a cheaper way. For example, spot varnish. Very common to do spot varnish, yet you still need to do that with the all setup of foil and with the plates and traditional way of screen printing or offset. Again, you can do that with digital, 1 copy or 10 or 15 up to 1,000. So adding value to our customers and opening new markets is what we do, basically by doing it digitally.
Thank you very much. Greg?
Thanks. I think the question again was, how do we help our customers expand and grow their business?
Correct.
I think a lot of times printers might invest in a piece of equipment for a specific job that they land. And what we've done is we've brought them then new opportunities and how they can bring many, many more products to life on that, whether it's a narrow digital, whether it's an offset press where they've converted to UV. This industry has become a bunch of quick printers. You know, there's no time to get it done. So UV helps speed through their shops. They're not printing on plastics. We can go in and teach them how to run plastics. And the same thing for wide format. Again, being able to cross-platform, whether it's a large format piece of equipment, offset, narrow digital, GPA just brings all different types of substrates to them to help advance business with their customers.
I mean, one of the biggest growth opportunities is in substrates. You can have the same machine, but used more substrates. Can you address that a little?
GPA started our offset printable plastics division first. And what's funny is, as we educated our customers to print on plastics in the press room, they might get a digital device and find that they are now moving from the press room onto that digital machine to be able to print variable or versioning of menus, durable goods. So yeah, it's an explosive area for folks that have narrow format digital to get plastics out there.
Right. So actually, let's stay with this train of thought for a second. So let's go to HP, if you don't mind, Ziki. How are you implementing new substrates into your thought process as far as educating customers about what they can do with your machines?
So we work very closely with the substrate suppliers, GPA being one of them.
I'm sorry, can you hear Boris? Thank you.
So we work very closely with a lot of the substrate suppliers, GPA being one of them, And we are using a lot of the samples and examples that the substrate suppliers and our customers from around the world have shown, and there's a lot highlighted here in the booth, showing running on the various plastics and all that stuff. It's an education process. The sales teams a lot of times are used to selling web, or they're used to selling sheet-fed digital on a paper platform, and they're not used to what these presses can do today. So it's a matter of educating them as to what's possible and why their customers would care.
Right.
Right? So we spend a lot of time educating them around that and showing them the applications.
But I guess I'm asking how. Do you do it during the sales process? Do you do it in the follow-up process? I'm trying to understand
Yes.
how the customers, yes. Right, how they interact with you.
So we have a program where we spend a lot of time with the customers up front, educating their sales team as to what's possible, and then we have an ongoing follow-up program through the business development team, and then we'll also get them to engage the supplier partners as well.
Okay. And Francis, can you address the substrate question?
Yeah, absolutely, because substrates is one way you can generate new and different applications. I brought a whole sample kit here, but I'm not going to take them out.
But you can see it in your booth.
You can come see it in our booth, absolutely. And so what we're showing is a variety of applications on a very large group of substrates, whether it be on our flatbed Arizona product, where we can print directly to wood or plexi, or where we're showing some different substrates like textured stocks or envelopes directly on our image press line. The way that we educate our customers is so absolutely during the sales process, but as I mentioned before, our thinking digital community is another way that we have the ability to do that. Again, by delivering information, videos, white papers, and having customers interact directly with each other so that they can learn about best practices and, what are the new applications that other folks are running, how are they running them,
Right.
is another way that we educate our customers.
Right. Now, Ziki, Scodex is such a unique thing that I wasn't really sure how to address the substrate question with you, because it's such an amazing technology. It sort of happens afterwards.
Right.
Are substrates a big consideration when it comes to scodifying, as I like to say?
Yes. So just to explain the process, following the prints done with the CMYK on any different digital or offset, those printed sheets are going into our press, and we apply the Scodex effect using inkjet technology. Now, using inkjet technology, we have no contact with the material already printed. We basically apply our solution without any contact to the material, to the paper or the plastic. It's a UV based. We have different polymers that we apply, and we have a window of operation to work with different polymers to different substrate and different inks, whether they're toner or water-based or indigo.
So does it matter what substrate it's printed on
It
then?
is matter, and we have a recommended media list that we work
Okay.
to enhance
Okay.
all the time to advance it, increase that, and introduce it to the market.
Okay, thank you very much. Sandy, I do have some more questions, but do you have anything, or do you have anything from home yet? Let's just open it. And does anyone have any questions here? You have a question. Oh, you do? Great. Okay, Sandy, come get the mic. Thanks.
With offset being probably 70 years old now, since I'd say 1950, since offset started, and has a very long maturity. I'm very familiar with all the operations, what you've been doing, etc., and been to Israel, etc., and we know France well, and know your gang well. What we're talking about, what do you think? Do you think that offset is going to just be gone? We have a number of our printers, large printers, feel that maybe the life is maybe another 10 years, and then they're starting to bring in, HP machines, etc. And there's going to be other ones if Landa ever gets his going, etc. So I just wanted to see where you think that the future of offset. I think it's going to be around for a while. It's going to probably be down to maybe 30%, 35% of the production. This is where I see where offset is, because they're also making different adjustments in offset, where Ray Obie has done a very good job selling equipment, etc. So Maybe you can answer that question.
So the question is,
And what is the lifespan of offset? I mean, is it, in other words, is it
I'm
done?
happy to answer that. I don't think offset is going away tomorrow, that's for sure. I mean, still the majority of pages that are printed on offset, right? And they will be for a while. That said, there's no question that we're starting to see a lot of companies like Canon introduce technologies that at some point will take pages off of offset. I mean, we're just showing this, we call game-changing technology, the VarioPrint i300, which is cut sheet inkjet. And is it going to take all the offset sheets away tomorrow? No. But I think that you're going to see a transition over time. I'm not sure that I'm venturing to give you some numbers or some percentage over time, but I think what's going to happen is the technology gets out into the market, we're going to see how well it works, and then we can make some, perhaps some predictions in terms of how that transition will take place. Yeah.
So I think you have to look at this in the perspective of the right tool for the right job, right? There's a great example. We have one of our customers in the UK last year had done a variable data catalog, right? The cover was offset. The cover was digital. The guts were offset, right? So it's a matter of using the right technology for the right job. I don't see that there is going to be much change in that for some time. I think there's a definite place for variable and for digital, and there's a definite place for static long-run offset. Now, I think the companies that are really clever and figure out that 1 + 1 is greater than 2 and sell both and are able to create hybrid products, are able to integrate themselves into the product life cycle, right? As we look at labels and packaging and all that sort of stuff, and we look at consumer goods, and we look at those product life cycles and say we're going to start off in digital, we'll go to offset, and we'll come back to digital. Those are the companies that are going to really excel, and that's what we work a lot with our customers around, helping them understand that. And I think that bodes well for offset being around for quite some time.
Okay, we have a couple questions from home. Oh, did you want to finish? Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to address the question, if I may, more towards traditional technologies, towards digital, and to include into traditional not just only offset, but screen printing and finishing traditional technologies that are traditional, analog, non-sophisticated in a way from variable data or short-run perspective. And I think going together with Boris, they will live together for many, many more years. There are advantages and disadvantages in each one, and I think they complement each other, both in the printing process and in the enhancement and in the finishing. So I don't see that going away. I see that getting more perfected in the right application and the right needs for each one, and I see that going for many, many more years alongside each other.
Nah, we're all good. Everything's been said.
Okay, so because you guys did such a great job of anticipating the right answers, our home audience, as each of you spoke, kept typing in things. They liked what you said, and then they would ask a question, and then you would answer it in your presentation. So good job, very well thought out. I'll tell you some of the things they liked. They liked the phrase, help brands understand what's possible, invest equipment in new opportunities and products, so that to give more life on press, adding value, helping customers go into new markets. One of the questions that was answered by the panel, but I think we could delve into it a little bit deeper, is how do you decide, I want to phrase this well, sometimes you have customers that need to be brought up to speed before you can reach out to their customers or help them reach out to their customers. So how do you do that diplomatically and efficiently so that they are a good resource and you can help them in the best way?
We go out into the field and provide technical lunch and learns with print sales providers, their sales team, and invariably you kind of get that, a third of them will get it, a third of them will be kind of wishy-washy about it maybe, and a third will resist it holistically. But then success breeds success. So as that third that gets it and gets excited about it, they bring in new opportunities. And generally, again, I'm talking about traditional printing companies that have print salespeople, and print salespeople are getting up there like myself. Us gray hairs, might be a little bit more resistant to new technology, and as we see the success of programs within our own organization, I think that's when the guys that might be on the fence kind of jump ship and start believing in this new age digital world that we're in.
So I think it's going the same way. We are escorting our customers hand in hand. We are going and educating in both ways, how to work and get the best out of our technology, and at the same time how to present. So working with the sales group of our customers, explaining them the technology and the values, and then working with the technical people and explaining them how to get the best out of the machine. We've got a pretty easy job in a way for Scotix, because once you put samples in front of people with Scotix, they speak by themselves, so it kind of makes our life a little easier, but there's still need to explain what you see, and that's what we do with our customer sales team.
So I think Greg hit the nail on the head. I actually go more the 80-20 rule. Salespeople will follow salespeople. They will follow compensation plans. They're coin operated. So we spend a lot of time, obviously, working with the customers ahead of time to understand each specific customer's issues, right? Whether it's a sales team issue, it's a market issue, and then develop a program from there. No one printer is alike. They're all different. They're all driven in slightly different ways. So it's really critical to understand what the issues are inside the company and how you're going to approach it. And part of that is understanding, is it an 80-20 sales team? Is it a 50-50 sales team? Do we need new blood on the sales team? And then having a long, serious conversation about that before you start to go to the customer. A lot of times these guys, as Greg said, gray hairs, right? They've been around for a long time. They're skeptical. They don't believe it will happen. It's really funny how often we see the young guy show up in the Mercedes and they ask, how the heck did you do that? I sold digital, I believe. And then all of a sudden they start following along.
I'm not sure I have anything additional to add. We develop materials, we develop sales tools that we deliver in a variety of ways, either directly to our customers, either through open houses, working directly with our channel, to help them educate their customers and better understanding the technologies.
Okay, so I actually did crowdsource some questions, and I'll start with you, Francis, so you can have a fresh one. This is actually from Stephanie Gadden. She's from Australia. She's one of our print chatters. She gets up early in the morning. She'd like to know, in your opinion, what print channels are not used to their fullest potential, and how could they be? And do you have any good examples of that?
So help me understand when you say what print channels are...
Well, like maybe people aren't really printing labels, but they really should be these days. Like what do you think maybe the most underutilized print channels might be? Not a good one?
I'll have to think about that.
Okay. You want to give...
I can take that.
All right, let's give it to Greg first, and you can think about it for a second. And then I'm going to give this to you, Sandy, because I know you have more questions.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with label stock. I mean, this is not a roll label show by any means, but printers have faced shortened and smaller run lengths. So has that web roll label printer. If a label's not being applied automatically from a roll to the product, it doesn't have to be printed on a roll and delivered in a roll. I'll tell you right now that to thread a expensive product through an 8 to 12 color roll label press, the spoilage factor on a short run has skyrocketed. So with digital technology, being able to sell the first or second sheet off the press, you can be as competitive as any roll label printer printing labels. Plastic are another huge growth market. And then when you blend the two together and you go with a synthetic adhesive product for POP, for floor graphics, for window signage, that's an area that more and more print service providers should be focusing on.
Well, again, it's inherent in what we do. when you talk about print channels, just take the whole print enhancement. That all needs to be utilized much more being digital. You can do so much more. Everything below 5,000 copies, B2 size or A3 size, you can do one copy with foil. You can do one copy with embossing. You can do variable data with foil. These are all brand new channels that I'm not blaming anyone for not being utilized because it's brand new, but this is a print channel that definitely going to expand and be huge in the future.
So I think there's actually a lot of opportunity in a lot of channels other than some of the really high-end photographic channels, which are almost 100% digital at this point. But I think the one that Greg hit on really is the packaging, the labels and packaging space. We launched the 20,000 and 30,000 specifically for that space, right? We realized that there is a massive opportunity, there's a massive challenge with brands with shortened product life cycles and the numbers of SKUs. So we're seeing in a product like a bottle of water, the number of SKUs around the labels are growing astronomically as brands are trying to create relevance through their products. So there is a massive challenge there that Offset just cannot do from a turnaround time or economics. So I think that is probably the biggest open channel that's out there today. But I think you've also got to look back at some of the high quality marketing materials, just-in-time supply, and the whole environmental reduction of carbon footprint through efficient manufacturing. That is still a very, very large channel, and I think that there's more work that needs to be done there to help grow that.
All right. Well, I get the question now. And I was just about to say that actually. So personalization, but variable data when you talk about something that's being underutilized. And I think one of the reasons for that is we still as an industry don't really understand data. We don't really understand how to help our customers identify the data, manage the data, and then utilize the data, right? So we all know how to put an address on a piece of or a piece of print, right? Whether it be an envelope or a direct mail piece, but what we don't really think about is how do we really personalize those pieces so that they're much more meaningful to the folks that actually receive them, right? We get all this data and information from like the Direct Marketing Association, the American Marketing Association, where they talk about how when you can increase your personalization of a print piece, you're actually going to increase the response rate. And as I said before, we'll put a name on something, but we won't necessarily really think about how we can actually make it more effective, either by personalizing the image or personalizing some text. And I think we could absolutely do a much better job in that area if we really understood data and how to manage that.
Okay, this one's from me, because we're in the printiverse, and like I said, you guys keep anticipating the questions from the audience and answering them, so good job, you're on their wavelength. This question is putting yourself, we look at the past in terms of helping customers, and maybe it consisted of a sheet that you handed them when they bought your equipment, maybe not with Scodex, but in the olden days. And then more recently we realized that we really had to do a lot more helping them and so forth. So looking forward 10 years or 20 years into the future, what do you imagine, and you can go as crazy as you want, would be a way that you could get into your customer's brain and help them be more valuable and train them and so forth? What, would it be brain implants, or what would it be? That's a question. How would you help your clients in the future?
So like how we get into our customers' heads and...
Yeah, or what do you think the technology would be that you can help them in the future? Because clearly, we know some people right now are using AR, they're using virtual training from all over the world, they're putting probes in... No, they're not putting probes in their brains.
Well, do you want to rephrase that a little bit? Or?
Yeah, let me rephrase that question. Thank you.
Okay. Tell us about the next 3 years of print. Tell us, forget about brain implants and all that other stuff. We're here today, so tell us about the next 3 years, and then I'll ask a question from planet Earth. Thank you very much.
So thank you for that, Deborah.
No problem. I'm here to help.
Data aside, right, because that's one way I think, let me touch a little bit on sort of this virtual reality or mixed reality, right? So
Oh my God, tell them about that cool thing at your...
Well, one of the so Ken is really heavily invested
Oh my
in
God.
virtual and mixed reality types of technologies, and some of the things that we're thinking about is how do we incorporate that into print? How do we make print more responsive, more interesting by incorporating of virtual-like technology so that you can now interact. So when you talk about over the next 3 years, I think that's an area where you're going to start to see some real growth. We want to be able to have anybody, right, the general public interact more with print, and I think personalization and certainly utilizing some of the virtual reality technology is going to help.
Thanks so much. Boris?
So I think if we look at print and where's print going to go, especially the digital print, I mean, I think we've seen a huge jump in size. I think we're going to see some continued improvement in quality, image quality, and speed and performance. And I think it's really around the awareness of the economics of digital, right? A lot of people look at digital and they've been trained over 10, 15, 20 years that digital is very expensive and the quality's not there. And I think that's a mindset that a lot of creatives have. That's a lot of mindset that a lot of print buyers have. And so I see that mindset changing. We had an example with Martha Stewart, right? She does a really large magazine, and one of our customers that produced it, and they sent out the lady to do the on-press proof, and they handed her the magazine complete. And she was sort of shocked. Oh my God, I can't believe you printed this thing. Well, we only printed one. Well, how did you do that? And they explained the whole process about how they could print one. And then they went and did some color changes. She took it back. Martha Stewart looked at it, and then she shows up to look at it. And she proceeded to talk about this at one of her award shows for about 15 minutes. So if organizations like Martha Stewart Living don't know what's possible,
Right.
then that's where I think the huge next jump is. The creatives and the designers need to be made aware of the power of digital and what it can do, not only for them, but for their customers, or getting their message to their customers. So I think that's really the next big jump.
Thanks so much, Ziki. And we have about 4 minutes left total.
Okay, so I'll do it quickly. I think it's a great question because we are now, sorry, I love my colleagues, but digital becomes a commodity. What they're referring to is adding value, not because of digital, because of the technology allowing to do variable data, which is the value of digital. But the point to your question is the future, people, consumers, and printer are looking for values, how they can add value to the CMYK, plain CMYK, and I'm again being a little blunt, but CMYK on white paper is no longer value. Variable data is value, other things are value. Foil, digital foil, glittering, embossing, all these are values that are becoming more and more needy, and we will see them over the next few years becoming more standard. If today a CMYK on white paper, and again I'm being blunt, is normal, people are looking for enhancement, looking for different materials to make the jobs different and unique. Variable data is one of those things that make the job more valuable. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see more valuable add-on to printing.
Greg?
I think all the comments that were made were excellent points, but I think what Francis said about data, I think the printers who have invested in digital, offset's not going away, but I think the marketing folks understanding data and how, and then variable information, and digital can do that, like you said. Wheatie boxes in every, Texas is huge on Friday Night Lights football. Instead of a pro athlete, it could be the local high school
Right.
star in the grocery store where everybody walks up and down and they can relate to that product. So I think that's what's going to happen a lot more in the next 3 years.
That's a fantastic point. I want to thank everybody so much for joining us today. This is just the first of panels that are going on all throughout the show. We have our schedules up. We have an app. Everyone download the app. It'll send you a little reminder. My mom is handing out Squeezians, a little thank you for joining us today. And again, thank you everyone so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Great talk.